Hello, Rahul. And
Magdi, namaste.
hey, Rahul. Harry Sambi. Hello, Harry Sambi. Okay. Okay. So, welcome. So, consider that all is well as it is. That right now, right now, in this moment, all is well. All is well because you recognize, you invite, you acknowledge the peace of being, things as they are. So your participation is this welcoming. It's a healing welcoming. And in the welcoming, it is realized that everything is already welcomed. In other words, we acknowledge God's creation, God's creativity in this moment as whatever appears, whatever thoughts, whatever sensations. We acknowledge God's touch, God's hand. We acknowledge the creator of creation. Which moment by moment creates this moment as it appears to you, whichever way it appears. And moment by moment creates itself as you, as your very being. Like a ring or a bracelet is made out of gold. The substance of the ring and the substance of the bracelet is gold. Similarly, the substance of your perceptions of your sensations, of your thoughts. Is your very substance. Which is the substance of the Creator. So that your peace is God's peace. Shining within you. So we say yes to God's peace. Which is our very being. You cannot move away from your very being. Like a wave cannot move away from the water. Its very substance. And your being is not different from the isness of the world. When you contemplate being, you don't find any borders. When you contemplate being, you don't find non-being. when you contemplate the isness of whatever is, you don't find non-isness. The distinction between you and the world is an imaginary distinction. The distinction between your body and the body of the world is an imaginary distinction. The distinction between your breath and the universal vastness is an imaginary distinction. The distinction between an awakened being and an unawakened being is an imaginary distinction. The distinction between day and night is an imaginary distinction. Reality is distinction free. Distinction free. Universal embrace. Nothing excluded. You won't find within reality a distinction. You find it within mind. Within mind, you find right and left, up and down, black and white, yellow, red, green. Maya, functional distinction that serve a limited purpose. And why not? Enlightenment and ignorance are just terms which is a way of pointing to freedom from unhappiness, meaning simply being like the wind, like the birds, like babies, like the sunshine. Distinction free, division free. On one hand, and on the other hand, being haunted by desire and fear. It's that simple. When you feel yourself and perceive yourself as a physical form, it's natural to be concerned and worried because of your identification with an object that is bound to go to pot, is bound to die. And so the body, this personal body, upon believing yourself to be that, to be somebody, is composed of all these worries and concern, which are natural worries and concern, because the body's healthy today and not necessarily healthy tomorrow. So within that identity, within identification, there is the concern, the latent, the potential worry. It is not an open space of love and beauty, joy and play. Fear about ending. This fear about ending. The ending of what? The ending of the body, which is bound to happen. But when you're not identified with the body, who cares? The body can end, okay. But the fear about ending, which is the result of this belief and this feeling that I am this body-mind, where does this fear reside if not within your body? It's there, within your cells, the cells of the body, within the vibrational field of the brain, within the pulsation of the heart. What is going to happen to me tomorrow? And yet, in your direct experience, now is the tomorrow of yesterday. In other words, we only know the now. We know it because we are it. And this now is this universal being. Not just my being, but all being. And not just a human being, the realm of human being, but all realms of being. As well as all realm of manifestation. Because there is one reality. And that reality is not made out of 450 billion pieces. It's just one reality, absolute. Second to none. And so your body is a universe. And your mind is universal mind. It's the mind of consciousness. It's minding all minds. The reality, minding all minds. Reality, worlding all worlds. Reality, universing all universes. Out of itself, to itself, from itself, for itself. Unconcerned, unworried, untroubled. Why would it be concerned, worried, or troubled? Can you get it that we're talking about our being, our reality, the one reality, the reality, whatever way you formulate it, your very being. That this is not like a philosophical discourse. Can you sense it? Sense this amazing, borderless, aware presence that has no name, no age. So every moment presents us with an opportunity to as needed, align ourselves with this understanding. Not simply get a diploma and file it in your library. It serves, it has no purpose if it's not living itself. And it lives itself as you choose to live it. It's your invitation, moment by moment. What is it to be knowingly this universal reality in every possible way, in my understanding, in my behavior, in my feeling, sensing, in my listening. To explore, to take a look. In this moment, am I referring to myself as the past, somebody in time and space? Or am I just here, this open field of not knowing, being, not knowing, I know that I don't know. This knowingness that is completely free from the past. What is it? What is it? It's complete freedom from the past. If you go to thinking, you're going to the past. If you go to feeling, you're going to the past. If you go to your library, your catalog of collected wisdom, you're going to the past. You cannot actually go to the past. It's an impossibility. Try it and see. What is it to be complete freedom from the illusion, the impression, the belief in time, the belief of me? It's me. What is it? What is this me? What is it? Is there a corpse we're dragging along by the hair, step by step? We just drag the corpse, dragging the corpse. Are you the corpse that you're dragging? It's exhausting, isn't it? Why to drag a corpse? Where are we taking it? Where are we going? To maybe dig a hole and bury it? Is that where we're going? Why are you going somewhere? Is there anywhere to go? Are you not here right now? There's no other imaginary realm of kumbaya. Happiness tomorrow. It's a fairy tale. Happiness now, yes. Peace and happiness now, yes. We don't need any explanation about happiness and peace because we know it. Nobody can explain it to you. Please tell me, how can I be happy? Who are we asking then? Whoever you're asking doesn't know. Take a look at your parents. Take a look at your culture. Take a look at people around you. Looking outwardly. You know the saying, whatever you find, you can lose. Loss and gain, they go hand in hand. Gain and loss. This is why it is said that we are looking so far for that which is so near. So we have the understanding, some understanding. And to apply your understanding in your life. You don't need any direction. Figure it out. Figure it out. You know the destination. Peace and happiness across the board. You are that which you seek. And it's not an experience. It's not a mind state. What is it? Such beauty. Okay. So listen, just adjusting the security settings here. And you're welcome to pose whatever questions, whatever you want to explore. Please unmute yourself and
Hi, Magdi.
Hello, Holly.
Hello.
Hello, Holly.
So I remember talks of yours in the past when you talked about desire, and you used the example, for instance, of someone who wants a Lamborghini really badly, and then they get the Lamborghini and they think they're happy because they got the Lamborghini, but actually they're happy because their desire has ceased. And I didn't really follow that, I think, at the time, but I think maybe now I understand a little bit better, because I'm seeing that the creation of the desire itself is like a narrative that's saying, I'm not already peace and happiness, but I could be peace and happiness if these conditions are met. So that makes more sense to me than that you already were peace and happiness, and you are peace and happiness, but you're kind of claiming in a way that you're not. And so that creates, I don't know, some agitation or something. And then for a few moments when the desire is met, you no longer have that narrative going. I don't know if that all makes sense, or if there's any question there, but I don't know if you want to talk more about desire and how we mistake it for, because we're really just longing for that peace and happiness, which we already are.
Yes, the first desire that we have is the desire for self-preservation, which is sort of a root desire. And we have, throughout our upbringing, throughout our life, our experiences from being a child to being a teenager, etc. We've developed that desire for self-preservation, and that's the me. So we've developed a me in the feeling state, the position of our body, how we perceive ourselves, how we perceive our parents, society, culture, our body, the world. So at the root base is that base desire, which is the desire for the me to be safe. But the safety of the me, which is just a reaction, the creation of the me as a safe network, was just a reaction to the lack of love or the absence of love as we are growing up. We experience aggression, we experience a lack of love, we experience judgment, we experience all sorts of admonitions to be somebody, to our parents, society, etc. So it's a reaction, the me is a reaction, which we feel it, we are this reactive me, this bundle of reaction, which we don't understand to be a reaction. We feel, well, that's me. I can figure my way in life. I can surmount obstacles. I can figure a way. I can make alliances. I can vanquish. I can lose, but I can stand up again, blah, blah. But this me is, although it serves a temporary purpose, it also separates us from the love. It separates us from the peace, because we have to protect this body, we have to safeguard this body, and whatever thoughts arise about this body mind, should have this, should have that. So we have to it's a struggle, it's a sense of separation. And once that's on board, and we all know that sense of me, once that's on board, then we are in the realm of desiring and protecting, defending, avoiding, being concerned and fearful, and seeking. So they go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. So yes, there is the understanding, it requires a certain maturity, spiritual maturity, to understand, I thought all along that attaining these, fulfilling these desires brings peace and happiness. But upon contemplation, we realize that in fact they don't. Because once you have the Lamborghini, then you're worried about garaging it, about the cost of it, about people scratching it, whatever. And after a while, you want the newest model. So we realize over time that that's not the case. And yet, when we win that lottery, we are happy. We cannot deny that. How come we're experiencing happiness? What is this happiness we're experiencing? So the happiness we're experiencing is the desirelessness, the release from the burden of attainment, of effort, of figuring it out, of the freedom from burden, period. Freedom, we're experiencing freedom. So there is this understanding. Now there's also the understanding that okay, I mean, where the heck is this freedom that I don't have to every time attain something to experience it? okay, fine, I can work hard and get a promotion. I can work hard and buy a nicer car, whatever. How long is this going to go? I mean, I'm going to experience these moments of happiness and freedom here and there. How about, I want the real deal. I don't want to go that route. And that's very smart. I don't want to go that route either. Very smart. I don't want to go that route. So then we hear the teaching, we hear that, okay, you're not what you imagine yourself to be. You're not what you believe yourself to be. You're not what you feel yourself to be. You're not a phenomenal object. You are the noumenal. You are the reality. You are the reality, not that which you perceive. You perceive a tree, you perceive a house, you perceive sensations, you perceive thoughts, you perceive feelings. You're not that. You are the reality of that. You're the reality. So you hear that and say, wait a minute, that's new language to me. It's like going to a new library. Yeah, it's nothing to do with all the libraries I've been to up to now. But somehow something speaks to you. Something speaks to you. Says, yeah, there is something there. Something that I am the awareness. I am whatever reality there is. I am this reality. There is a reality, and obviously I know it. I know it because there is something here rather than nothing. So there is something called reality, not that which appears, because that which appears could be a hallucinogenic experience. Right now, we could be having a hallucinogenic experience, but although we may be having a hallucinogenic experience, there is a reality that. And that reality, you know it because here you are. Here you are as what? As awareness, as presence, as that reality. And once you start to contemplate that and realize that, wait a minute, I am that reality. This reality is right here, right now. There can be no experience without its reality. There cannot be a perception without its reality. There cannot be a sensation without its reality, which is the reality of I. There cannot be an I sense of being, not being holy or being, you know, a woman, a man, a 5 foot tall, not being an object. There can be no reality to being, the fact of being, which we don't need an explanation about it. We know we are. We know there is isness. So there cannot be any isness, any being without its reality. See? And reality is non-phenomenal. It's not like in the morning it is green and in the afternoon it's blue. It's not like that. It's not less, there is less reality at 2 o'clock and more reality at 4 o'clock. So then we realize, you know, it's noumenal, it's non-phenomenal. And yet it's indisputable. See? And you cannot hurt reality. You can't make reality happy because it just won $1 million. You know what I mean? It's like, and he's saying, wait a minute, maybe this is where peace and happiness is. This is where the true peace and happiness is. That doesn't come and go. Because $1 million comes and goes. Yes, but that reality doesn't come and go. And so we start to hear this teaching and we start to sort of sense the significance of it. Not just to hear it, but to sense that it's speaking about our experience. It's not a tale, a nice theory about creation or a theory about happiness. No. Sense into it. Yes. And we open ourselves to, we say, okay, we invite this understanding because we already We already have this understanding. We invite it to sort of to bloom in our life. And we participate, whichever way we can, we participate with the understanding that all is well, and abundance is not in the world, is not out there. Abundance is within the reality, which is infinite, infinite abundance. I'm not talking about $20 billion of nothing. You see, the abundance, the abundance, the joy, the happiness, those great feelings that you feel when you are with somebody you love, you know, this great feeling is not out there. It's nothing. That feeling that you experience out there is nothing compared to the freedom, the happiness, and the joy of being. You see, you start to sort of get a sense of that and trust that and say yes to that and open yourself to that, say yes to that. Yes, so that's the direction. That's the direction that I want to walk. I want to walk in that direction. I don't know how to walk in that direction ahead of time, but we'll see. We'll see what presents itself. I don't know, whatever presents itself. We'll see how to meet this situation from the fullness, from the wholeness, not from the sense of lack, not from the sense of limitation, not from the sense of judgment, good and bad, good here, bad there, bad here, good there, whatever, not from that place, but from that understanding, you see. So then there is you're living at the edge of the universe. See? There is this painting of Bodhidharma crossing the Yangtze River. He's standing on a blade of grass. You know, blade of grass is, and he's standing on a blade of grass, crossing the Yangtze River. The blade of grass, crossing the Yangtze River. I love that painting, that metaphor. Because that blade of grass is eternity. It's the eternity of being, the eternity of presence, the eternity of reality, the infinity, and the eternity of reality. So, at the source is the fulfillment, not downstream. At the source is the fulfillment. And then everything downstream is expressing the source, See? Expressing the source. And the source flows, it flows everywhere. Wherever. It has no concern. Because it's flowing freshness, the freshness. It's flowing freshly every moment. So it can only be freshness. Wherever it goes, it's spreading the freshness. It's nourishing. It's nourishing the field. The piece of being right here, right now. See? Right here, right now. And so at the feeling state, we may have some tendencies of contracting, but we can notice and we can invite that relaxation. Because there's no issue. There is no mission. We're not just trying to have a perfect, limpid body mind. No, but it's an invitation. So, oh, hey, listen, why are you contracted? Release. It's all open. It's an open space. It's open space. An old pattern. Okay, no problem. No problem. Here we are. We can dance and play. Let the wind come and blow whichever way it wants to blow. You see. So there is this inner attention, let's say this inner attention, that's sweet. It's not on a mission. It's like, hey, let's see how the feeling state, how I move, how I listen, how I breathe, how I hold my jaw, how I hold my belly, how I hold my shoulders. And let's see, like sort of, it's an inner, inner. And in relationship, somebody says something, does something. There is all tendencies, just interesting. It's only interesting. It's interesting. It's not problem. It's not a problem. It's interesting. Oh wow, how interesting. And I don't need to figure out it started when my grandfather loved my brother more than me. Who cares? It's just interesting, and it's possible in this moment to sort of, yeah, okay, cool, no problem. So there's no internal battle. You see, there's no internal battle. Not trying to seek a state. Yes? Okay, Holly. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, lovely to see you, Holly.
You too.
Say hello to Emma. It's been quite a while.
I will. Yeah.
Okay. Before I go on, there's a question I wanted to go through. Your question, Frank. Yes, does that work? Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, hey, Frank.
Oh, were you waiting for me to say something, or did
No. I was just adjusting the screen here. So yeah, Frank. So you wrote. Okay, Magdi, thanks for taking the time to write. Okay, I understand the feeling state, but I still don't get why this feeling state is so persistent, given that it is still just consciousness. It seems like we are making the body and its sensations more powerful than it should be, given that it's just consciousness, like everything else. Is it because we believe it? Is it our belief that the body is a more gross kind of phenomena than mind that makes it less susceptible to change? But that would still be just a belief, since all is just mind or consciousness. Yes. Yes, Frank. So yes, all is mind and consciousness, meaning the mind, meaning thoughts, images, as well as sensations, which we refer to as the body, and perceptions. It's all consciousness, meaning its reality is one. There's one reality. Its reality is one, which we know as the reality of awareness, consciousness. But you say, why is this feeling state so persistent? As if we're making the body and the sensation more powerful than thoughts. Well, we're not making the body more powerful than thoughts, which is simply observing. We're observing. We notice that thoughts, they have less they're more transparent. They appear and disappear. They are consciousness, and so are sensations. We simply notice that thoughts appear and disappear, but the effect on the feeling state lingers longer than the thought. For example, let's say that you're thinking that there is a thief trying to steal your car. Okay? And you feel agitated. You go out into into the garage, and you find that there is nobody there. So in that moment, you understood, you perceived there is no thief. So it's very clear that there is no thief. Although now it's clear for you that there is no thief, you will notice that your heart will be pounding a little bit longer, maybe a minute, maybe, especially if you are feeling really agitated, you really love your car, you really love your car. That's how it is. There is in the Indian tradition that that metaphor about the rope. So a rope is made out of twine, and when you burn the rope, all the twine is burned, it's become carbon. But the rope will maintain its shape unless you touch it with a stick, then it will maintain its shape, although it is no longer made out of twine. They use that metaphor in the Sanskrit teachings. It's an old metaphor. Similarly, with the body, although the twine is all burnt, meaning there's no more belief in the sense of separation. You know yourself to be consciousness. You know everything to be consciousness. The body will for a while still express the old model, especially that the body exists in relationship, with friends, relationship with work, relationship with family. There are established relationships. And in these relationships, the body adopts a certain position. It's a different position when you are with a friend, at the feeling state I'm talking, than when you are with your boss. It's a different feeling state. When you are with your partner at home, it's a different feeling state than when you are with your brother or with your mother or with your sister. So these relationships, they're still going on. Irrespective of your understanding about consciousness, about reality. There are relationships that are still there. And some of these relationships, one aspect of them is sort of a body language. There is a certain way that we communicate. The body communicates in a way by its how it appears in different situations. there is that aspect too that's being developed in the body that applies from situation to situation. Like I have noticed, for example, that there was this pattern, and when I was meeting with clients, there was a certain, before even I went to the meeting, as I'm preparing myself to go to the meeting, and as I'm thinking about the meeting in the past, I started to take on some positions of certain attitudes that would prepare me for the meeting. And when I would go to the meeting, I would have a certain internal makeup to sort of be in a certain way in the meeting, which is connected, of course, to, you know, my whole beliefs about me, the world, money, work, etc. And these beliefs, slowly, they got developed, you know, in the feeling state. And what I found very interesting is that I started exploring that the people, the clients I was going to meet, you know, for the contract or for whatever negotiations we were doing, they were just little boys and girls like me, that were children. You know, we were playing the game of life, and that there was really nothing at stake, and it didn't really matter. As long as we're enjoying, you know, meeting. And that changed my inner feeling state in the meetings. I would still be seriously prepared. Of course, I would prepare myself, but at the same time, there was a feeling of lightness. Nothing really was so much at stake. Yeah, I would like to get the contract, but you know what? Not at any price. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll talk. And there was an inner freedom. But it wasn't like, you know, 1, 2, 3. There was a process of well, the understanding and to also feel the freedom. There was a process of living the freedom, feeling the freedom, being there, listening, being respectful, and when there was something that I disagreed with, I spoke. You know, no, I don't think that's not something that speaks to me. So the important thing to understand in terms of our non-dual conversation is that although it is all consciousness, and there is no question about that, it's not sufficient to say it is all consciousness and go to a meeting with a feeling of concern and worry, and which is the unhappiness. Of course, there can be some practical concerns, but not the unhappiness. So to clear the unhappiness within your feeling state, within your body, is a process of applying your understanding. First of all, having the understanding and trusting the understanding that there is really nothing at stake. Nothing at stake. And to invite yourself to live this way. To invite yourself to live this way, you have to invite your whole being, your entire being, to live this way, including your body, your behavior, your thinking, your perceiving, your feeling. And yes, if you can clear the entire space in one stroke, good for you. In my experience, because there were so many patterns, you know, in my case, so many beliefs about my culture, my family, what I should become, who I should be, whatever. I mean, there was so much stuff, political beliefs about the world. It wasn't the 1, 2, 3. It wasn't like, oh, well, you know, all these feelings, you know, of political positions, of being irritated by this and that political event, or being irritated by family relationships, etc. Feeling that I must save everybody in the family. All these feelings, they didn't go away 1, 2, 3. No. They were unhappy. I could sense the unhappiness within me. In spite of knowing, being clear that it's all a freaking illusion, still I was feeling it within my body. I was feeling, not all the time, but you know, most of the time I was feeling. I recall this vasana that I had about being a savior, you know, with my family, that took a good decade, and I'm being conservative, to sort of really dissolve out of my space. So at the feeling state, the feeling level, there are positions, defensive positions, or offensive positions, or protective positions, or whatever, all sorts of structures operate. They sort of nested themselves within the body. So there is life. You know, life is really beautiful because life provides you with opportunities. Gives you the opportunities to sort of notice those inner notice, and to sort of release them or work with them, whichever way, you know, not to sort of take them to be your guide, rather to sort of see them as patterns arising to be seen and to recognize their master. They are not your master. You are their master. So because you are the master, you don't want to give the power away to a feeling or to a certain inner position or a line of thought that's living itself through your body. You know. When I say you are the master, I mean you as the reality of being, awareness. And so it's not a matter of curing the inner child. You know, there are sometimes talks about the inner child living within us. No. The inner child can still have all its ailment and all its old pains and aches. Rather, it is living in the moment, in presence, meeting the situation, whichever way the situation appears to you, as consciousness. Both inwardly and outwardly. So if you do experience that your body is consciousness, then that's perfect. Because consciousness has no issues. Consciousness is one. But if you're just thinking, well, wait a minute, my body is consciousness, then there should be, and if thoughts are consciousness, they should both appear and dissolve simultaneously. Well, that's still theoretical. There's nothing wrong with the theoretical, but it's not sufficient. It has to be your experience that your body is the universe. That the body of consciousness is your body. The body of consciousness is the universe.
Magdi, I'm still waiting for that explanation about why the body doesn't absorb the idea that it's not really a separate self as quickly as the mind. Is it because we believe that it has to be that way? Because isn't everything about belief?
No.
So we believe that the mind is more.
No, you don't believe. You don't believe that when you drop a glass on the floor, it breaks in 20 pieces. That's not a belief. That's not a belief. You don't believe that when you cut your body, it's not going to leave a, what is the name of that thing that stays on your body? A scar. That's not a belief. It's not a belief that when you cut a thought in two, you're going to have two different thoughts that are, you cannot cut a thought in two. You cannot make a thought bleed. That's not a belief, but you can make the body bleed, right?
But isn't a body a belief in itself?
The belief that I am the body is a belief. The body is an experience For
Also,
example, when you pinch yourself, that's not a belief.
but the belief that the body is material is belief, because nothing
Yes.
is material.
Right. Right. Yes. Yes. The belief that the body is made out of matter or is material is a belief which we're open to it. When somebody proves it, we have no problem. Then it's no longer a belief. If some scientist or some great physicist proves, here it is, the body is made out of material, then it's no longer a belief. Yes, you're right. The body being material is a belief, but that the body is not real. That's to say that the body is not real. You cannot say that, because we do have an experience of sensation. I mean, you have a toothache. When you have a toothache, you cannot say this toothache is not real.
But we also have mental disturbances that we can get rid of once we have the understanding in our minds that we're not a separate being. So
yes,
I don't see the difference.
Well, you said that once we understand that we are not a separate self, the mental disturbances can quiet down or cease to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, when we understand that the sensations that arise in the body are impersonal, are universal, then there are no longer disturbances within the body. You want me to repeat that, or you got it?
Please, yeah, no, can you repeat?
Yes.
Please.
So yes, you said that once you understand that at the mind level, the belief that I am mortal is just a belief, then the mind disturbances end, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Similarly, I'm saying, yes, you're right. But it's the same thing at the body. At the body level, once you understand that sensations are neutral, that all feelings are neutral events, impersonal events, then at the feeling level, the disturbances cease. You're right. It works that way.
Okay.
But the understanding that there is no personal self, although it brings an end to mental disturbances, there is a different application that brings in an end to the feeling disturbed. The application at the mind level is the understanding that I am not a personal self, I am consciousness. The understanding at the feeling level is that all feelings are impersonal sensations, universal cosmic events.
So it goes a little deeper, but it's still.
No, it doesn't go deeper. It's just it's at the mind level, we can hear, oh, there is no personal self. But you know what? You can hear it 1,000,000 times and still feel that there is a freaking personal self. You can hear it 10 million times. But there comes a time, or maybe suddenly, or in little bits of pieces where you get it. I got it. I am that which perceives. I am not. That which perceives is not a person. I don't find a person. At some point you get it. I think you're making an assumption that the understanding at the mind level is much quicker than at the body level. No. Understanding is neither quicker nor slower. There are two branches, two venues, two avenues of understanding. And I'm saying two as if they're completely separate, but it's just a matter of speaking. They're two, but they're also interconnected.
Okay.
You don't just, go into some kind of spiritual cave and you contemplate the belief that I am the body mind. You don't. You're living life. There are all sorts of things happening in your life, things that are upsetting you, things that are making you happy. So it's a mixed it's a contemplation of both at the feeling level and at the mind level, at the understanding level. Okay. The end game is peace and happiness.
Okay. Sounds good. So I got a lot out of that.
Okay, Frank. And the thing is when we sort of insist on, it's not sufficient to get the understanding that there is no personal self, is because there is such a thing as arriving to the understanding there is no personal self and feeling and believing that this is the end game. There are teachings that go from that place that speak, well, there is no personal self, there is no me, there is no you, so you're suffering, but that's not true. You're not really suffering because there is no you, there is no sufferer. How could you be suffering if there is no personal self? So, but yet you're freaking suffering. You know, don't give me all this. It sounds good, but so this is why we say, wait a minute, okay, fine, that's an important understanding. Yes, there is no personal self. There's never been a separation. There's never been a separate reality anywhere in the universe. But where is the happiness? Where is the happiness? Okay. All right, Frank. Cool.
Super. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Frank. Okay. Any questions? Okay, it seems that we are all good here, so very beautiful. Lovely, Lisa, and George, and Nathan, Frank, yes, Holger, Patrick, Rahul, and Holly, and Grace, Zoe, Richard.
Thank you, Magdi.
Thank you, Richard. Maria, hola Maria.
Thank you, Magdi.
Yes, lovely to see you, Maria. Hello, Kelly, beautiful dog. Yes. Aya, Lucas, hello, Lucas, and Gisela. I hope I did not miss anybody. Hola, Gisela, lovely to see you. Lovely to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
you.
Magdi. Everybody.